Listen carefully and guess the right answer.
Okay.
From the following water safety measures, guess which one is correct. Number 1, always warm up before swimming or going in the water. Number 2, enter the water slowly and wear a life jacket. Number 3, never go beyond the designated swimming area. Number 4, call 119 or a lifeguard on duty if you witness drowning.
뭐지? 1번도 맞고 2번도 맞는 것 같은데.
Time is running out.
The answer is all of the above.
That is correct. All of these options are important in order to safely enjoy water activities.
If you keep them in mind, you're bound to have a great and safe summer.
Stay with BEFM this summer for a responsible beach season.
김밥가게 박 사장님도, 문구점 김 사장님도, 우리 부산의 경제를 움직이는 사람들. 우리 동네 작은 가게로 향하는 발걸음이 우리 부산의 경제를 키워가는 한 걸음입니다. 부산 방송광고 발전 협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Last Friday during Talk Busan, we highlighted the events and festivals that are in store for us this fall. On a national scale, the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit, known as APEC, is as big as they come, and it is slated to be held in Gyeongju next month. As the rest of the world may be focused on that bilateral summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, if they do meet, that's going to be the first in, 6 years? Well, domestic watchers will be keen on the impact of this visit here in Korea. In the meantime, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung will hit the international stage at the 80th UN General Assembly in New York first. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Monday, September 22nd on BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. Welcome to the program on this Monday morning. I hope you enjoy the nice autumn or fall breezes that were just so amazing this weekend. So it's back to the grind. It's Monday once again. So the annual United Nations General Assembly, the UNGA, kicks off on Monday local time in New York. And this year, South Korea is at the helm. And I mean that literally. What does this mean? Member nations, they take turns heading the United Nations Security Council. And this year, it is South Koreans' turn at the presidency. So we're talking about 안보리 의장국. And this means that President Lee Jae-myung will preside over an open debate of the Security Council, marking a major moment in the country's diplomacy. President Lee, in this capacity, will also give the keynote speech at the UN General Assembly. And here he's expected to announce that South Korea is returning to democracy after last year's political turmoil and present the new government's vision on matters surrounding the Korean Peninsula. This year's UN General Assembly also falls on the 80th anniversary of the United Nations Foundation as well as the 80th anniversary of South Korea's liberation. The president is also expected to hold summits with the heads of state of France, Italy, Uzbekistan, the Czech Republic, and Poland. The presidential office said that no summit is in the works with U.S. President Donald Trump, at least for right now, with tariff negotiations being done on the working level. This signals a full month of diplomatic activity, starting with the UNSC presidency, the multiple summits in New York that are to be had, and one with the Japanese Prime Minister potentially in Busan later this month. So the highlight, the finale, will be the upcoming APEC summit in Gyeongju in a little over 1 month's time. So hopefully this will be a grand return of South Korea to the global diplomatic stage. All right, now it's time for a text topic. So are you ready? You know, kids get hurt and, you know, sometimes they cause trouble. Tell us about your childhood. What trouble you caused, and if you got hurt, for example, like running around school or whatever it is that you did to get hurt. 내가 어린 시절 친 사고 혹은 다친 경험. I hope it wasn't too serious, by the way. So let me know your stories. Send them in to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM or 부산 영어 방송 to find our channel. And then you can subscribe and log in and chat with our other waivers. From your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for a free through Kakao Talk. You got to find us first too. BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Those are the keywords. Type that in. Add us as a friend. And you can send in your messages, photos too. The ways you can tune in to Morning Wave in Busan. From the radio here in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM, depending on where you are. You're watching us live right now on YouTube. Some of you are. You can watch again at your leisure. And we're available on the BEFM app and also the Patbang app, both easy to download and both are free. Looking ahead to our morning together, it's Monday. So what do we have? We have Cultural Interlude with Michael Kang. In hour number 2, we have Claire coming in for News in Depth. For our special interview, we're going to be talking about that story, the detainment in Georgia, but this time from an angle that's a little different. We're going to talk about the legal, the human rights angle, and also the diplomatic fallout with our expert. That's coming up in hour number 2. I'll be back with News Overview. It's time for News Overview. It's now 7:05. President departs for New York to attend UN General Assembly. President Lee Jae-myung has embarked on a 5-day trip to New York to attend the United Nations General Assembly, where he will give the keynote speech announcing the return of South Korea to democracy. Sign-ups for second round of consumption recovery coupons start today. Sign-ups for round 2 of the government's 100,000 won consumption recovery coupons begin today for 90% of the general public. Government working on communicating with U.S. over H-1B visa. South Korea's foreign ministry said that it is monitoring the U.S. for any statements on the Trump administration's announcement to vastly increase fees for the H-1B visa and is in the works of figuring out the specifics. Former Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung appears at special counsel for questioning. Former Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung appeared at the Seoul High Prosecutor's Office yesterday for questioning in the special counsel's martial law investigation. UK, Canada, and Australia formally recognize State of Palestine. The leaders of the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia formally recognized the Palestinian statehood Sunday local time as the first members of the G7 advanced economies to take this step. Portugal also announced its recognition. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan. We have Sejin in the studio with us. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Morning.
I hope you had a good weekend.
I actually don't remember what I did.
Oh, you don't remember? Oh, is that a good thing or a bad
Memory
thing?
of golden fish. Yes. How about you? How was your
I
weekend?
had a very relaxing weekend. You know, some of you know, like I injured my leg, so like I couldn't really do anything. I was pretty much just not by choice, just really, really indoors. And I also, you know, helped my niece study for her first exam ever. She's taking her first like midterm exam. She's in middle school and she's like so nervous. And so I think I spent probably over 10 hours with her over the weekend, like helping her prepare. So that's what I did. I was indoors all weekend.
Wow.
But however, the little bits and pieces of when I went out, the breeze was so nice.
I know, like air is crisp.
I love
can
it.
see that, yeah.
I wish it would stay this way, but you know, it's going to get cold.
I know.
Like there's no more fall. But anyhow, text topic. When you were little, did you get hurt a lot? Did you run down? Did you fall down? Did you get into trouble?
Yeah, I had one big accident, the biggest accident I would say at home.
Oh no.
So I was getting in a fight with my younger brother. And you know, when you're younger, you are physically fighting.
Oh really? Okay.
So yeah, we are in a bathroom and he was kind of upsetting me and I was kind of upset and he was upset and we were physically fighting and I happened to break his finger and he was crying but I was so scared. Mom is like in the kitchen. So
How old were you?
I was like 7, 8.
But you broke his finger, and how old was he?
He's 2 years younger. So like
근데 like how like 꺾었어요? Like you
so
broke his finger?
I tried to protect myself and then it just broke. And
Oh,
I was
no.
like out of scare. My mom is coming. I'm like, please stop. And then like I just closed his mouth to not make him cry.
Oh my goodness.
And he was hospitalized.
대형사고인데요, 이거는? 동생 손가락을.
So hospitalized for like 3 days. And I stayed with him like all night, all day.
You felt really bad, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh, did you get into a lot of trouble?
With my younger
With your
brother.
mom, right?
With my mom, yes.
Oh, I'm sure. Ooh, okay.
But
Thanks
I
for
saw-
sharing.
Yeah, and then no
And
worries.
now everything's okay, right? Between you and your brother?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. We're going to jump into our first local story. I hear a fishing boat sank off the coast of Songjeong, right here in Busan. So there was an announcement about the search operation, correct?
Yes, the search for those missing for the fishing boat that sank off Songjeong officially ended on the 21st. The accident left one person dead and another missing. The Ulsan Coast Guard said that on the third day after the sinking, they wrapped up their intensive search for the missing Indonesian crew member. They deployed 6 ships, 3 helicopters, and 1 plane, covering an area of about 27 kilometers, but found no trace of the missing person. And from now on, they will continue with routine patrols and search operations.
So can you tell us about how this accident happened?
Yes, on the 19th, a 79-ton bottom trawler registered in Busan sank east of Songjeong. The boat had left Busan's south port the night before with 8 people on board, 3 Koreans and 5 Indonesians. 7 were rescued by the nearby boat, but the Korean captain went into cardiac arrest and died after being taken to hospital. 1 Indonesian crew member is still missing.
So this is, of course, tragic news. Do we know why the vessel actually sank?
The cause is still under investigation. Some of the rescue crew said the boat sank while turning as they were pulling in the net. Authorities are also considering whether to recover the sunken boat or not.
Once again, of course, our thoughts and prayers to the victim, but plus, of course, the search operation. Now, let's talk about Busan's biggest fish market, facing a bit of a dilemma right now.
Yes, the Busan Cooperative Fish Market, which is the largest auction house in the country, is embarking on a major modernization project at the end of the year. But the problem is they're busy preparing an alternative market because the catch this year is much bigger than usual.
Oh, so how much of an increase are we talking about?
At the moment, about 100,000 boxes of fish that's coming into fish market every day. Normally at this time of the year, it's more like 40 to 50,000 boxes. So this is about twice as much. And officials say this trend usually continues into winter. So from November through February, that trend is likely to continue and sales this year will only get bigger.
Yes. So in terms of the dilemma itself, what exactly is this?
Yes, modernization is one thing. Finding enough alternative space is another challenge.
Okay.
Once HJ shipbuilding and construction gets down to full-scale work at the end of the year, the market will lose sales space, and that's a real concern.
I see. What is their plan?
They will divert as much as possible to their branch auction house in Kamcheon and also use some of the unused space inside the market. Market officials admitted that they are worried because the catch is running to 2 times higher than usual, and it won't be easy to keep sales smooth during construction.
I see.
But they say the modernization project will go ahead as planned, and they're determined to make sure their seafood is still supplied to the public on time.
Which is important. So hopefully they can do a great balancing act. So thank you for telling us about this. All right, the Chuseok holiday is coming up real soon, and I'm sure people, they might be wondering, oh, well, if I do get sick, if I have a little mishap, will I be able to see a doctor, right?
Yes. So Busan City announced that 38 major hospitals will offer selective outpatient treatment during the holiday. And emergency rooms will remain open 24 hours as usual to ensure that citizens do not experience inconvenience during the Chuseok holiday. The city has set up a holiday emergency medical plan and built a cooperative system between private and public medical hospitals.
Right.
For example, Inje University Busan Baek Hospital and Haeundae Baek Hospital will open for outpatient treatment from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the 9th of October.
I see. Any other hospitals that will be open?
Other hospitals like Daedong Hospital, BHS Hansa Hospital, On General Hospital, Good Hamson Hospital will be open on selective days. Others like Gwanghae Hospital, Gupo Songsim Hospital, Gijang Hospital, Merito Hospital, Samyuk Busan Hospital, Good Muna Hospital, Haedong Hospital, Yeongdo Hospital, and Centum Hospital will also provide services. And Busan Medical Center will offer a full day of normal services on October 8th, covering 13 departments, including internal medicine, obstetrics and gynecology, and pediatrics.
I see. Well, what about like the big university hospitals, the 대학병원?
Yes, places like Donghwa University Hospital, Busan National Hospital, and Kosen University Gospel Hospital will not open outpatient services during the holidays, but their emergency rooms will remain open 24 hours a day. To prevent any gaps in pediatric patient care, 9 Seoul Pediatric and Youth Clinic in Dongdaegu and Kumjong Pediatric Clinic in Kumjonggu will open as usual on Chuseok.
I see. And so just in case, that was like a lot of information. If people need to double check to see which hospital is open on what day, is there like a service?
You can check real-time info on the clinic hours and date through the 121 call center, 119 comprehensive situation room, and the mobile app eGen.
I see. So the call center, the number is once again 120. Yes. All right. Next, let's talk about the fact that, we already mentioned fall is here. And Busan is gearing up for a city-wide festival, right?
Yes. Busan's Autumn Festival has begun. Busan City is holding Festival 10월. It began yesterday and runs until October 3rd, with events all across the city under the theme of Autumn Breeze.
So Festival 10월, we heard about it, I think, last year. So what exactly is this?
Festival 10월 is a special autumn tourism campaign that combines Busan's art, performances, festivals, startups, and international conferences. And this year is its second year. And what's new is that the number of events increased from 17 events in 6 fields last year to 26 events in 10 fields this year.
Okay, so let's talk about what kicked off because, it is kind of over a span of time.
Yes, it started yesterday at 7 in the morning with a 7-bridge tour, a cycling race across Busan sea bridges.
Okay.
Then there was a gourmet event right on the top of Gwangan Bridge called Festival October Brunch on the Bridge. And in the evening, people enjoyed a drone light show competition, the Bukang World Drone Festival, alongside Busan Jazz Festa.
Right, that sounds so amazing. But for the many people who might have missed that, I hear there's a lot more happening, right?
Yeah, that's plenty more. And at PEXCO, there's a Fly Asia 2025 Startup Expo today and tomorrow. And later this month, the Busan International Food Expo from the 26th to the 28th.
Okay.
There's also a Craft Beer Masters Challenge and Shiwal Insight, where people exchange ideas and knowledge about urban solutions. Plus, the Busan International Performing Art Market will showcase 100 performances from 15 countries. And the country's longest-running Busan International Rock Festival will also be held.
Oh, so some major events that are still to be had. Well, what about this 10월 Lounge? What is this lounge?
It's a space that fosters exchange of ideas and creates business opportunities among content creators. This year, it's expanded from 1 venue to 3, including Pexco Outdoor Square, the Rock Festival, and the Bay 101.
Oh, so once again, Busan really kind of like one big stage this fall, right?
Yes, as Mayor Park Kyung-ju put it, Festival 10월 will turn the whole city into a festival stage and hopefully be a catalyst for Busan to welcome over 3 million foreign tourists this year.
Yes, indeed. So thank you for going over all of the local news, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It is now time for your traffic and weather. First up, let's check out what's happening on the roads on this Monday morning. There's an accident on Luno Samsungdaedo from Myeongji Underpass to Shinho Bridge in that direction. There's a 2-car collision at the beginning of Shinho Bridge. It's backed up on Manduk intersection from Manduk intersection to the Namhae Expressway Deokcheon ramp. Also backed up on Dongso overpass from Bumnukgo ramp to the old Kaegum tollgate. And there's traffic on Byeonglo from the Wondong ramp to Suyang Tunnel. And it's looking slow on Nakdong Namno from Hadan intersection to Hagwon Bridge. Currently, it's 21 degrees Celsius under partially cloudy skies here in Busan. It's expected to go up to 26 today. Across the nation, fully fall is how I'm going to describe it. It is cool, and the weather, you're going to feel it today. Light rain over Jeju, though. Big temperature gaps between morning and daytime of up to 15 degrees Celsius. So you know what that means? You're going to have to dress in layers. This was your traffic and weather. It's now time for top stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
I saw you enjoy the outdoors.
I
I'm so jealous.
I took like 5 naps I was pretty much comatose on Friday. I was like, you know what?
It's the weather.
Yeah. But then on Sunday, it's like we are at that little sliver of fall, and it's a sliver, like it's
can we freeze
tiny. It's tiny. So it's like I feel like I'm losing out, like 아까워, if I don't go outdoors. So I force myself, I strap myself into some comfortable shoes and went hiking.
Nice.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Yes. Well, I do want to hear about your little mishaps when you were growing up. So
I was the typical second child, all about 사고 쳐, but hide it well.
사고치고 숨기기.
Exactly. I'm like, so like with every family's different, but
Yes.
my family's very typical. Like, first, my older sister should like always fight with mom. I'm like, that's stupid. Just don't do it, but hide it. Like, why would you? Anyways, I was trying to open a bottle of lemon lime soda, and we weren't supposed to have soda because I don't know, like 8 years old. I have tiny hands and really weak grip, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. It's not to use a knife. Yeah.
To open, what was it, a can?
A bottle.
A bottle?
I
a
think
knife?
I was like, I saw it off. I don't know. Slipped the blade in my thigh. I have like a 1 centimeter scar on my thigh.
serious?
Probably should have gotten it stitched. But then again, stupid, hide it. So I slapped on a Band-Aid and yeah.
On the knife wound?
Yeah.
On your thigh?
I mean, good thing I didn't get like,
Oh my God.
it didn't get infected, but yeah. Yeah.
That's
So stupid. So stupid.
Oh, poor Haley. Now I want to see the scar. I'm curious, but
After
On a different
the
day.
segment, yeah.
okay. We're going to jump into our top stories. So, continuing with this topic of South Korea's diplomatic prowess for our first story, the stakes for the Gyeongju APEC summit just got higher,
Right. So as you mentioned, the first Trump-Xi Jinping summit for Trump's second term will take place in Gyeongju next month. So this is after President Donald Trump wrote on his social media page on Friday local time that he spoke to President Xi Jinping of China on the phone, and they made progress on issues including trade, fentanyl, and Ukraine or the Ukraine war, as well as approval for the ongoing TikTok deal.
Yes.
And he stated that the two will meet in person at the APEC summit in South Korea, and that Trump would go to China early next year with a reciprocal visit to the U.S. by Xi. By the way, taking this into kind of a broader scope, this would be their first meeting in 6 years since the G20 summit in Osaka. So that was way back in 2019.
Right.
So with this announcement, the APEC summit in Gyeongju now becomes kind of the biggest diplomatic event for the latter half of the year. And the issues that Trump mentioned going back, trade, fentanyl, the war in Ukraine, they won't be resolved quickly with just one summit, but experts say that it'll take months for the two sides to find a quote-unquote landing zone, but this might be a crucial step.
Yes. What kind of role may South Korea play in all of this?
Right, so let's come to South Korea's side, which has been trying to, well, for decades, play this balance game, maintain friendly relations with both countries, and according to President Lee Jae-myung, now is trying to become a bridge between the superpowers.
Okay.
So the APEC summit, not just this one, but generally APEC summits are one of the rare summits that President Xi Jinping attends in person. And Seoul is expected to use this opportunity to ask the two superpowers, the U.S. and China, to cooperate on the matter of North Korea, although it likely won't be on the official agenda for the Trump-Xi summit, according to many experts. However, we're getting some breaking news this morning. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung's move to put this as more of a priority item on the agenda may have already started, because in an interview with the BBC, and we're getting a lot of foreign press outlet interviews getting released right now, Lee said that he would accept a deal between Trump and Kim Jong-un under which North Korea would agree to freeze production of its nuclear weapons for now rather than completely get rid of them.
Okay.
Lee said that North Korea was producing an additional 15 to 20 nuclear weapons a year, and freezing them as, quote, an interim emergency measure would be a feasible, realistic alternative, but that the long-term goal is still denuclearization. One more point, North Korea just released a speech from Kim Jong-un himself, who said, among many other things, giving up their nuclear weapons and denuclearizing is not an option.
I see. Okay. Well, let's move on for now. The government is looking to uproot these so-called ghost surgeries.
Right, so surgeries by proxy or substitution. So these are where allegedly or sometimes court-proven cases, nurses, nursing aides, and even some cases pharmaceutical representatives have allegedly done surgeries.
Yes.
And this is still happening apparently in spite of there being now mandatory CCTVs installed in, or at least at the entryway of ORs or operating rooms.
Yes.
So the Health Ministry has announced changes to the Medical Act, and under the changes, it will be mandatory for medical hospitals, including medical institutions, to keep a record of the people who are in the OR, and plus their respective roles. So this would be the doctors, nurses, nursing aides, what methods were used, the details of the surgery, time, and results. So the ministry explained that many medical professionals, as represented by the Korea Medical Association and other interest groups, also agreed in principle to the intent of the changes.
Okay.
The ministry also announced harsher punishments for these acts of so-called ghost surgeries. So under the changes, if a person without medical license, for example, the pharmaceutical rep or the proper license, maybe doctors and nurses and nurses' aides,
Yes.
who operate on a patient turns him or herself in, then the authorities will be more lenient in their administrative action. However, the medical professional who abused his or her license, so basically the doctor who allegedly ordered this person to perform operation, would have his or her license suspended. Right now, that's only for 3 months to 6 months, which one could say, is that still enough? One could.
One could. We'll just leave it there. All right, on to our next story. The number of immigrants and foreign nationals in the country is definitely on the rise. But when it comes to proper records, there's still room for improvement.
Absolutely. So there are actually no proper death records or statistics for foreign nationals, despite there being over 2.7 million foreign nationals living in South Korea. To put that into perspective, that is a little below the population of the entire city of Incheon. So the Migration Research and Training Center report on the lack of death statistics for foreign nationals says, according to the customs data by the Justice Ministry, the top cause of death for foreigners that was listed was, quote, illness. 병사, which there are so many. What kind of illness? And second place was miscellaneous, 기타. So basically illness and non-illness. And they together accounted for 94% of the total. And by comparison, when we look at statistics of Korean nationals, this is a lot more detailed. This, by the way, is for the same year, 2022. Cancer coming to 22.4%. Heart disease, COVID-19, and pneumonia. So where there are specific illnesses listed, it's not the case for foreign nationals.
I do have a question. Why is there such a big difference in how these figures are gathered?
So it is a little bureaucratic because there are different departments that handle these data. So the institution pointed out that the difference is how the data is gathered, that there are 9 different types of diseases that are separated for South Koreans that are lumped into illness or disease for foreign residents. And by the way, this accounts for 9 out of the top 10 causes of death, these illnesses or diseases, and the other one being suicide. So the institute said that the data or statistics gathering process is much more simplified for foreign nationals because there's no one agency or institution that's in charge. And then on top of this, and this is tragic, there are a lot of cases where if a foreigner dies on South Korean soil, the death sometimes isn't even reported unless they have a next of kin, or especially if this person is undocumented. So that figure might not even be the full picture. But then again, bigger picture, we are seeing the number of foreign residents in South Korea having increased by 50 times in the last 35 years. And given the economic and cultural role they play, there's a need for more systematic management of their cause of death.
Yes. So thanks for reporting on this. We're going to move on and talk about some good news coming from Gangneung. We need it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the drought is certainly improving. So the water level at Ovong Reservoir, which provides much of the water for the city, is now at 58%. So that's thanks to the continuous rain over Gangneung from the weekend and a few days before. And then also starting Saturday afternoon, the authorities began releasing water from Pyeongchang's Doam Dam to the reservoir on a temporary basis. So with this, the 113 large apartment complexes that had to basically shut off their water except for a few hours in the morning and nighttime, now they have normal, flowing, constant water. And this is particularly fortunate because we are getting close to Chuseok. And people were really concerned, will my family be able to come here if they can't shower or even flush the toilet? And people had travel plans, and this was such, anxiety-inducing issue for hotels and businesses. So while there had been some concerns about the water quality from Doam Dam, the city explained that after the proper filtration processes, it will reach the quality of drinkable water.
Okay, well, that's definitely good news. At this point, we need all the water we can get in Gangneung. Yesterday was a day that was marked. We're talking about World Alzheimer's Day, and there may be a movement to change the word. We use the word dementia in South Korea quite a bit, right?
Right. So yesterday in Korean, this is called 치매 극복의 날. The official terminology is Dementia Eradication Day in Korea. But I want to talk about the term 치매. dementia itself. So like a lot of medical terms in South Korea, it has Chinese roots. And both chi and me mean foolish.
Oh, does it?
Right. It's 어리석을 chi and 어리석을 매. So there are 4 bills currently at the National Assembly that call for changing this term because, well, words matter. It can stigmatize the disease and basically get in the way of early detection and treatment. But if this were to happen, again, official terms like 치매 안심센터, those institutions would need to change their names as well.
Sure.
So the government is of the position that the changes are necessary. However, those more on the practical side, medical field, say this could cause confusion, so there are a bit of concerns.
I see. But there are international cases, I guess, where the terminology like dementia is no longer used?
Right. So let's look at other Eastern Asian countries where they also use Chinese character-based languages. So Japan, China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, they actually all have changed, at least government level, 치매, or their versions of it, to basically something meaning brain cognitive impairment disorder or something along that line.
Okay.
Even dementia. And this is your Latin lesson of the day. D plus mentia in Latin root means madness. So without one's mind, also negative connotations there. So the United States actually in its official medical diagnostics statistics of manual and of mental disorders changed that term dementia to major neurocognitive disorder, MND. Of course, this is medical. It's not going to be used colloquially in everyday settings, but you know, it is a serious issue because coming back to South Korea, according to the health authorities, 709,000 patients were treated for Alzheimer's or similar neurocognitive diseases last year. That figure is expected to jump to 970,000 this year, up to 1 million next year. According to the guidebook on dementia, prevention is key, exercising 3 times a week, eating a balanced diet, reading, drinking less, quitting smoking, having social activities, talking to other people, and of course, early testing can all help to prevent whether it be quote unquote dementia or Alzheimer's.
Yes. Well, thanks for schooling us today. We now have this information. So thank you, Haley. And of course, we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
We're going to take a short song break. This is 좋다 by Daybreak.
사랑 노래가 너무 많았어 어떤 노래로 고백을 할까 처음 본 순간 Fall in love with you 미칠 것 같은데 널 사랑하는데 네가 있어 좋다 사랑해서 좋다 다른 말로 설명할 수 없는 이 기분 너무나도 좋다 너와 함께하는 이 순간 영원히 간직한 이 기분 멋진 말들로 꾸며댈수록 나의 마음을 가릴 것 같아 빼고 더 빼고 줄여갈수록 보석과도 같이 남아있는 이 한마디 좋다 사랑해서 좋다 다른 말로 설명할 수 없는 이 기분 너무나도 좋다 너와 함께하는
It's time for Cultural Interlude. We have Michael Gang in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend? I know you were quite busy.
Yes. Well, a lot of things have been going on during the weekend.
Yes.
But, good things are happening in Busan. A lot of festivals.
Yes.
I've been going around basically throughout the entire city, just going from festivals to festivals. It's good, though. I like it. I like this kind of vibe. Everybody's very excited about something,
Yes, yes.
And they, have this good excuse to forget about reality and I don't know, like what's going on
Especially
in the world.
weather was so cooperative. So
oh
beautiful.
my goodness. Now I feel like I can live.
근데 이게 얼마나 like how long are we going to have this amazing weather not long?
지금 즐겨야 돼요.
네.
지금 즐겨. Carpe diem. Really. Enjoy
Yes.
the moment. Seize the day. Because the weather's good.
For the time being.
Yeah, timing.
Quick question. Text topic time. 어린 시절 어렸을 때 다친 거 있었어요? Like 경험 or like 사고 쳤다. I hope it's nothing major, but
Like, does it have to be during my childhood though?
No.
Because I think this is a cumulative experience that I have.
Ooh, okay.
So 결론부터 말씀드리면
네.
I had to scrap 4 cars.
네?
So
네
4대를
대나?
폐차를 시켰어요. 제가. So 결론만 말씀드린 거예요.
Okay.
I mean there's a lot of story behind this, but one thing I realized was okay, 저는 Michael doesn't deserve to drive a car.
Were you driving each time?
Yeah, and I was always the bad guy.
At fault?
Yeah.
Oh no.
100%.
그러면은 우리 감독님이랑
이게
차
참
타면 안
부끄러운
돼.
이야기긴 한데 제가 많이 배웠어요. 인생 경험을 공부를 많이 해서 이제는 운전을 안 합니다.
Okay.
네.
At least you learned your lesson.
I did.
After
So,
4 폐차s. Okay.
무리하지 마세요.
네.
운전 못하실 것 같으면 운전하지 마세요.
네. That's the PSA for today. 무리하지 마세요.
But I mean.
But you're safe. You're okay. So
I'm okay.
that's-
I'm okay. And nobody got hurt. I mean,
Okay.
during the process, it was just me just running into one of those poles in the parking lot. You know what I mean?
근데
그냥
폐차까지.
주차장에 혼자서 이렇게 갖다 받고 막 그런 거예요. 그래서
좀 대형 사고네요, 그건. Okay.
혼자서.
I wish we had an hour just on that,
Yeah.
but we're going to jump into cultural interlude. What do you have for us today?
Yes. So today, I would like to talk about one of the biggest festivals that's taking place now in Busan.
Yes.
Which is the Busan International Film Festival.
That's right.
Yes. 3 decades ago, so that's 30 years ago, the city of Busan was better known actually for its bustling ports, industrial power, and beautiful beaches.
Yes.
And back then, only few could have imagined that the city would one day become home to one of Asia's most prestigious film festivals.
That's right.
Today, this year, we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Busan International Film Festival, or BIFF.
That's right. And then didn't it start off as PIF probably?
BIFF, yeah, it was Busan, right?
Busan.
Yeah, and they changed their name.
Oh, thank goodness it's
Yeah.
Busan now. So 30 years, that is amazing for anything. I mean,
It
you
is.
talk about like 30th wedding anniversary, but this is like an event, as you say,
Yeah.
has really grown. And I feel like, Busan has grown up quite a bit culturally. And Busan wasn't even considered a global cultural hub back in the day in 1996, right? So what made BIFF's founding so remarkable?
Yeah. So I think it was really an act of passion, right? So a group of cinephiles or movie lovers wanted to create a festival that highlighted Asia's emerging filmmakers.
Yes.
So the inaugural BIFF, which you just mentioned, was held from September 13th to 21st in 1996. Screened about 170 films from 31 countries.
Oh.
Over 200 international guests attended.
Ooh.
It was an ambitious move at that time,
Yeah.
back in 1996. And it set the stage for Busan to become the center of Asian cinema. So it is important to note
Yes.
that, so in 1996, they screened about 170 films, right? For the 30th year, which is today, this year, the festival is screening 241 officially invited films. That means, but also on top of this, if we include the movies selected for the citizen-driven community BIFF,
Yes.
which is another part of the program, the total number of films being presented rises to 328.
And like every time I speak to one of the organizers, right? They talk about how like it's so difficult to whittle it down because they get so many submissions, right? Thousands of submissions.
I'm sure if we talk about the number of submissions, I mean now 경쟁률도 많이
Oh, yes.
빡셀 거고요.
네.
Yeah, right? Like compared to 1996 for sure.
But still, when you think about the inaugural BIFF, that's still like pretty amazing that they got so many people to come.
170 films is still a lot.
That's a lot.
I can tell you
Yes,
that. Yeah,
yes.
so that's very ambitious. Very ambitious.
And if we look back on the history of BIFF, Korea, some of the most like kind of famous, well-known directors,
Yes.
kind of got their start, right, at BIFF, no?
Yes, that's correct. So for example, 이창동's 박하사탕 or peppermint candy opened the festival in 1999. A year after that, in 2000, 봉준호 감독님 screened his first feature, Barking Dogs Never Bite, or in Korean, 플란다스의
Okay.
So he would go on to direct Parasite, right? So we remember him as this very famous director, but he began his career basically at BIFF. And 연상호 감독님 also premiered The King of Pigs in 2011, which is called 돼지의 왕 in Korean. And he won 3 awards and launched his career successfully.
Ooh, so I love that idea. The whole idea of BIFF like becoming a launch pad for filmmakers, right?
Yes, but and also interesting thing is, it became a launch pad not just for Koreans per se, because it is a international film festival.
It is.
So Chinese director Jia Zhangke won the New Koreans Award in 1998 for his debut Xiao Wu, and Thai director Apichatpong Weerasettakul introduced his film Mysterious Object at Noon in 2000.
Yes.
Both of them later became internationally acclaimed directors.
Right.
So Jia Zhangke won the Golden Lion at the Venice International Film Festival.
Right.
And Apichatpong won the Cannes Palme d'Or in 2010.
I mean, that's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it all began with BIFF.
That's right. And so over the years, BIFF has welcomed some big names from all around the world because, yes, directors, filmmakers, it is amazing because it's all about, film and cinema, but, the stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the guest list, if we take a look at it, it is impressive. So Taiwanese master Hu Xiaoxian, American director Oliver Stone.
That's right.
French actress Juliette Binoche, and even Hollywood star Timothée Chalamet have all attended.
Yes.
So their presence elevated, definitely, clearly elevated BIFF's global profile, showing that Busan was no longer just a local event, but a truly international gathering.
Yes, yes. And with its growing audience, the festival kind of needed a permanent home,
Correct.
right?
So in 2011, the Busan Cinema Center, 영화의 전당, opened in Haeundae. I did not know this because I came down to Busan in 2017. So before then, I wasn't following anything that's happening in Busan, right? So apparently, 영화의 전당 is a pretty recent building, right? It's pretty new.
It's a landmark, though.
Yeah. So 2011, that's when the Busan Cinema Center opened in Haeundae. It's not only an iconic cultural landmark, but also a dedicated hub for screenings and events.
Yes.
The architecture itself is very stunning. I don't know if any of the waivers haven't been to.
Oh my gosh, it's so
영화의 전당.
beautiful.
혹시 못 가보셨으면 꼭 가보셔야 돼요. It is an emblem of Busan's transformation.
Like they always say, it's like the world's biggest like cantilever roof or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing and it's right here literally in our city.
Yeah.
And as Kate, one of our listeners, points out, the audience is very passionate and there's so many guest visits. I think everyone is enjoying it. All the events held at the outdoor theater are free.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Yes.
I was actually there yesterday and they also have some very good food trucks out there too.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
important.
And do you know what I had?
What did you have?
I had the steak 볶음밥.
Was it good?
I can still smell it.
배고프다.
정말 맛있습니다. 밥도 맛있고
네.
it's getting better and better every year.
Food trucks are good. Yes. And so when we go back to what we've been talking about, BIFF's journey, though, it wasn't always smooth sailing. There were some struggles. So what do you think were one of the most difficult moments?
Yeah, so this, I think when it comes to BIFF, we have to talk about the year 2014. So that was when there was a controversy that centered on a documentary called The Truth Shall Not Sink with Sewol.
Yes.
It's also called Taibingbel in Korean. It criticized the government's mishandling of the Sewol ferry disaster, where more than 300 people, mostly students, lost their lives. We all remember this.
Yes.
Authorities pressured the festival actually to cancel the screening, but BIFF refused, standing by its principles of artistic freedom.
Yes.
In retaliation, the government funding was cut,
Right.
and audits followed, throwing BIFF into turmoil.
I do remember that. It was a very testy time for the festival itself, and it must have really tested even the survival of the festival itself.
Yes, but the support from filmmakers and cultural voices worldwide actually helped BIFF maintain its independence.
Yes.
So that moment solidified its reputation not just as a film festival, but also as a defender of free expression.
Right, because we don't want censorship when it comes to the arts.
And it's
right?
very symbolic. It was a symbolic year for the film industry, not just in Korea, but also for the world.
Yes, yes. So here we are 30 years later, and BIFF still here, still so strong. And how is BIFF marking this really cornerstone milestone?
Yeah, so this year, BIFF is introducing the Busan Awards, which is a new competitive section featuring 14 Asian films. Awards will be given in 5 categories, which is Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor or Actress, the Special Jury Award, and the Artistic Contribution Award.
So it's new, but what's like the larger goal of this new section?
So it's about basically staying true to the festival's founding vision, which is discovering and promoting Asia's best cinema. So Busan Awards aim to give a fresh perspective on Asian filmmaking, which is evaluated through an Asian lens rather than a purely Western one.
I see. So any other notables for this year's festival?
BIFF will also spotlight works by international cinema icons, including Italian director Marco Belluccio, whose prolific career spans over 6 decades.
Ooh.
And French actress Juliette Binoche, both are attending the festival in person.
Oh, that's so good.
Other notable attendees include Japanese actor Ken Watanabe, best known for his role in The Last Samurai in 2003, and Mexican director Guillermo del Toro, who won Best Director and Best Picture at the Academy Awards in 2017 for The Shape of Water.
That's right.
And Tony Lung Chu-wai, who won Best Actor at Cannes for his role in The Mood for Love in 2000. And in the Carte Blanche section, which features screenings curated by prominent cultural figures, Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho has selected Shinji Aoyama's 2000 film Eureka. And Maggie Kang, co-director of the global phenomenon K-pop Demon Hunters, has chosen Bong's 2006 film The Host. And further celebrating Maggie Kang's work, the festival will hold a special sing-along screening of K-pop Demon Hunters. I am very excited for this. You should go, Wavers. You should go and sing along.
Yes.
BIFF will run through September 26th at the center and other venues across the city.
That's right. And, even if you can't go in person for whatever reason, like looking at all the social media, the SNS, like, oh my gosh, especially the Mexican director Guillermo del Toro, he's like everywhere and he's so into it.
He is.
It was really great to see.
Yeah.
So.
I think there was a very interesting meme on social media where I think actors and actresses were taking turns doing the aegyo shots. And I think Guillermo del Toro was one of them too.
Exactly. So I was just like,
I loved
wow.
it. I loved it.
Well, thank you for giving a retrospective from 1996 going into the 30th year of BIFF. Very meaningful. And you gave us so much great information. So thank you. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. This was Michael Kang with Cultural Interlude for this Monday morning. We are ready to wrap up hour number 1. Here is Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On.
get it on. Let's love, baby. Let's get it on. Sugar, let's get it on. Ooh, we're all sensitive people with so much to give. Understand each other. Since we got to be here, let's live. I love you. There's nothing wrong with me loving you, baby, now, and giving yourself to me can never be wrong if the love is true. Oh, baby. Ooh, don't you know how sweet and wonderful life can be? Ooh, I'm asking you, baby, to get it on with me. Ooh, I ain't gonna worry, I ain't gonna push, I won't push you, baby. Come on, baby, stop being around the bush. Hey, let's get it on. Get it on. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, baby. Hey, let your love come out. If you believe in love, let's get it on. Ooh, let's get it on, baby. This minute, oh yeah, let's get it on. Please get it on. I know you know what I've been dreaming.
안녕하세요. 현대해상 모델 이정재입니다. 70년 현대해상의 여정을 함께해 주신 모든 분들께 감사드립니다. 모든 분들의 하루하루가 더 나은 삶으로 채워지도록
of nuclear weapons for now. Sign-ups for second round of consumption recovery coupons start today. Sign-ups for round 2 of the government's 100,000 won consumption recovery coupons begin today for the 90% of the general public. A 5-day rotation system for registration applies for the first week based on the last digit of one's birth year, starting with 1 and 6 today via their card websites or apps or in person at their local community centers or banks. People can also look up whether they qualify for the coupons. Those whose household earnings exceed a certain level based on their national health insurance payment have total taxable income exceeding 1.2 billion won or over 20 million won in financial income such as dividends or interest are excluded from the coupons. Government working on communicating with U.S. over H-1B visa. South Korea's foreign ministry said it is monitoring the U.S. for any statements on the Trump administration's announcement to vastly increase fees for the H-1B visa and is in the works of figuring out the specifics. An official from the ministry said that the government will comprehensively assess how this measure will affect domestic companies and professionals working in the U.S. and communicate with the U.S. as necessary. U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday, local time, signed an executive order raising the fees for the specialty occupations H-1B visa to $100,000, which went into effect on Sunday. Former Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung appears at special counsel for questioning. Former Prosecutor General Shim Woo-jung appeared at the Seoul High Prosecutor's Office yesterday for questioning in the special counsel's martial law investigation. Shim faces allegations that he received orders from then Justice Minister Park Sung-jae to dispatch prosecutors to Joint Investigation Headquarters and the National Election Commission on the night of December 3rd. The Cho Eun-suk Special Counsel is also investigating for dereliction of duty allegations for Shim not appealing the court's decision to withdraw former President Yoon Suk-yeol's arrest in March. UK, Canada, and Australia formally recognized State of Palestine. The leaders of the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia formally recognized the Palestinian statehood Sunday, local time, as the first members of the G7 advanced economies to take this step. Portugal also announced its recognition. A handful of other nations, including France, Belgium, and possibly New Zealand, among others, are expected to make a statement on Monday local time at a special UN conference to lend their support for the two-state solution to the Palestine-Israel conflict. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned these moves as rewarding terrorism and threatening Israel's existence. And this was Spotlight News. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan. What does it mean to live in an English-friendly Busan? And what role does English play as Busan rises as a global hub city?
올 가을 여러분에게 영어하기 편한 도시 부산으로 가는 길을 안내합니다.
This fall, on September 27th, Saturday at 3 p.m., join us for a special outdoor stage event at F1963 Open Square, featuring a thought-provoking panel with a professional English educator, Lee Bo-young, British broadcaster Peter Bint, K-pop idol Aaron, and me, Catherine. Plus, enjoy a special live performance by Busan's English-friendly city ambassador Kim Jo-han and singer-songwriter 커피 소년. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan.
9월 27일 토요일 오후 3시 F1963 오픈스퀘어에서 여러분을 기다립니다.
It's time for Wagga Wagga. Haley's here.
Hello.
And did you hear that spot, Haley?
I did. It's in my calendar. I don't have it penciled in. I have it permanently markered, carved in. I mean, gotta go to not lose my job.
It's tattooed in my heart.
Yes.
So we're going to be there Saturday, and we hope to see many of you. If you can, make it out there because, number one, it is going to be an amazing opportunity to see these people, the panelists, in person, including me. And Haley's going to be there too.
Yes.
And the Yeji PD님, for anybody, the little birdie that you're all curious about. And also, we have an amazing lineup, the panelists, plus, of course, the musical guests as well.
By the way, I tell some of our coworkers, the panel, and she's like, do you guys have what? They're like, how? We have our birdie is very
birdie
capable.
is
When she's not chatting away, she's great at her job.
When she's not chiming in. So hope to see you there, everybody. If you can make it, that would be lovely. Come and say hi. All right. Wagga Wagga. There's been a bit of friction among employees at a local education office over their ringback tones.
Ringback tones coloring. That's what we call them in Korean.
Yes.
And this is Gwangju Office of Education. Is apparently they're doing this project to change their employees' ringback tones to what's called their brand song or a jingle for the education office, which basically talks about this shining future ahead. So according to a civic group that's raised issues with the case, Gwangju is the only education office that's trying to use their employees' phones, and we're talking about their personal phones, to promote its brand and the jingle. So the word song has words like, it's very typical, challenge yourself, push yourself for your dream, try your best. But the group says that there are some local governments that do this for specific events or specific anniversaries. This is kind of an ongoing project, and so the intention is unclear. Also, the group took issue with the budget having been allocated from other departments, and it is reporting to the city council. And that it was not reported to the city council, or at least in a transparent manner.
So what else happened?
Right. So the group said that the office executed some 4.14 million won last year for 137 employees to change their ringback tones. And for this year, at least until August, 119 people. But they're saying it's not convincing about what promotional effects it has. So this is apparently done on a voluntary basis, and employees who want to change their ringback tone, they sign up via their department. But then just realistically, just, anecdotal, our personal level, would you want to? They're just saying, commonsensically, they're also saying, how voluntary is this?
Is this voluntary?
Is the question.
I don't know.
So, so there have been concerns about, well, if I don't do this, will this weigh negatively in my employee assessment and evaluation? And then the civic group also pointed out issues with political neutrality, possible issues with that, because the education superintendent or the education governor's election is just 9 months away. And the current education governor's slogan also has the words future, which is repeated many times in the song.
I see. Well, what did the city education office say on this matter?
Right. So the city education office released a press release vehemently denying these allegations, saying that this is for public interest to share the message of transparency in everyday life. It's to spread the value of education. And they're saying that the budget was executed and allocated legally. And with the under 10% sign-up rate among its employees, they're saying there's no way this can be coercive.
That's what they're saying. Okay. Well, we're going to leave that story there for now and move on to our next story. We've discussed South Korea and the U.S. looking to launch a working group for the skilled workers visa. However, we also reported, President Donald Trump just signed an executive order hiking that skilled working visa fee by what, 10-fold?
Not 10, actually. It was 100. I got to do the math, and this is ironic.
Significantly.
It's for STEM fields, and clearly I would never qualify. But laughing matter aside, I'm seeing articles about people spending $8,000 to hurry back to the U.S. lest their visas be affected.
Yes.
So U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order that will add $100,000 fee for the H-1B visa. This is for skilled foreign workers. That in South Korean won is 1억 4천만 원, so 140 million won.
Yes.
So the visa is, again, only applicable to skilled workers in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and math. So until now, the visas have carried an administrative fee of about $1,500. And it has a cap. Not everybody can apply. I mean, you can, but not everybody gets it. It's a lottery basis as well. 85 applicants per year maximum.
I see.
So there was a lot of confusion over the weekend because what Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said at the signing ceremony was a little different from what the White House said later on. But this is what we know thus far.
Okay.
According to the White House on Saturday, the $100,000 fee would only apply to new applicants, not to current visa holders. It is a one-time fee, at least according to the White House. It took effect as of a minute past midnight Eastern Time on Sunday. The executive order is scheduled to expire after a year,
yes,
but it could be extended. According to Secretary Lutnick, who was at the signing, said all big companies are on board. By the way, government statistics shows that in the last fiscal year, Amazon, Tata, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Google were the biggest beneficiaries of the program.
But they're on board?
Well, he says.
Okay.
Right. So this again goes in line with the administration's broader anti-immigration America First policy because Lutnick says basically, if you're going to train someone, high-skilled worker, train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across the U.S., basically train Americans, don't bring foreigners in to take their jobs. But again, you do have to fact-check that statement because with the $85,000 a year cap, these visa holders only account for 0.45% of the U.S. workforce.
So, going back to that question I had, are companies really on board?
Well, the companies didn't know about it.
And they're paying for this, right?
Well, yeah, they are. So critics have long argued, pro or for or against. Critics have long argued that the H-1B visa undercuts the American workforce. But there are supporters, including Elon Musk. He argues that it allows the U.S. to attract top talent from around the world. Interestingly, Musk was on the H-1B visa after he dropped out of Stanford. So it seems to have come as a shock for many of these companies. For example, Microsoft and JP Morgan emailed its employees right after the executive order signing, telling the H-1B visa holders to not leave the U.S. If they're already abroad, they strongly urged them to return to the U.S., but that gave barely a 24-hour window. And again, we're seeing anecdotal stories of people dropping thousands of dollars and there having been a panic with flight delays coming into the U.S. So this was not just for the H-1B visa holders, but their families who are on the H-4 visa. South Korean companies have expressed concerns that the ongoing visa discussions may be made more difficult because of this. However, in terms of a list of countries that do benefit from this, South Korea has a relatively small ratio of H-1B visa holders. India dominates the pool with 71% of the total, followed by China's 11.7%.
So we're going to have to keep an eye on this story to see how this affects, of course, South Korea. All right, moving on to our next story. Apparently, anti-Japanese sentiment is growing in China after the release of this one movie.
Right. So this is called film 731.
Okay.
So it shows atrocities by Japan during Japan's invasion of China during the Pacific War or World War II. There were human experiments conducted. We know this well in Korea. The term is called maruta, and biochemical warfare, named after the unit 731 that committed these acts. So the film graphically depicts the horrific process in which ordinary Chinese nationals were dragged to the unit and had experiments done upon them. And by the way, victims included not only Chinese, but Korean and Russian nationals as well.
Yes.
While the film is fictitious, it does come after painstaking research that took place over 12 years, including over 8,000 pages of documents and 400 hours of actual victim testimony. So in terms of the film, it's been doing incredibly well in China. And the figure, it sold 200 million tickets 2억 명 on the first day. It is China. It has the second biggest population.
Yes.
But still, it's astounding.
Right.
But it has 98% of box office share. So pretty much everybody's going to watch this movie.
Okay.
So local outlets reported emotional responses after the film, people crying and outrage at Japan's lack of apology or even recognition of this 731 unit.
Right. So apparently the sentiment has gotten so bad that some Japanese schools in China, they've closed their doors for the day.
Right. So this movie opened on September 18th, which is also China's what's called National Humiliation Day, when back in 1931, Japan allegedly staged a railroad accident that they used as an excuse to invade Manchuria. On the same day a year earlier, though, a 10-year-old Japanese boy going to a Japanese school was killed by a Chinese man in Shenzhen. So this particular school in Shenzhen closed its door for 2 days. Other Japanese schools in cities like Shanghai and Beijing either had guards on standby or switch their classes to remote for a couple days.
I see. All right, let's go to our final story for now. This is about kids and accidents at schools, which is just along the lines of our text topic today.
I was thinking like
Scrapes.
falls and scrapes and bruises, but you guys are intense.
Yes.
But 10% increase in safety accidents at schools reported last year compared to the year before.
Oh.
And this is according to the Education Ministry data released by Democratic Party's Shin Seon-mi. Last year, there were a little over 200,000 safety accidents across schools, 9.6% increase.
Yes.
And as you can imagine, PE class was the site of biggest or the highest number of accidents, accounting for 37.6%. There were also 35,000 cases that happened during recess or break time.
Yes.
31,000 during lunch, and surprisingly 22,000 in non-PE classes.
Oh.
I'm like, what
going
are
on?
you kids doing? Right, but we laugh. But there were, of course, serious cases.
Yes.
101 that led to serious injuries or even death, and that exceeded 100 for the first time in 4 years.
Right.
The Education Ministry said that from after the end of the COVID pandemic, schools have gone back to their normal educational activities. And also on top of that, principals are now required to report these cases to the authorities, and that accounts for the general increase in cases.
Yes.
So lawmaker Jin Seon-mi said that there are still safety lapses in schools, at least in some part, and called for the education authorities to preemptively inspect and take measures for these possibly accident-prone sites.
Ah, really? So, well, the little birdie in our studio right now says, 저도 초등학생 때 줄넘기 2단 뛰기 하다가 의자에서 뛰어내려서 Why were you doing it on
She was
you
trying
doing
to
it
do
on
the
a chair?
double jump.
On a chair?
She
Why?
jumped off from a chair.
Off the chair?
Oh, because she wanted to get more jump.
Ah, she needed the vertical air? Like...
For her English, she broke her foot.
Yes. And so...
Oh, I'm surrounded by foot breakers. Sorry. Sorry. Had to.
It's not technically broken, Haley.
Okay.
So I'm just, protective cast for a while. But thank you for outing me. And we'll check in with you tomorrow.
Bye.
That's Haley. And I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for a traffic report. There are multiple accidents to report on. First up, on the Dongso overpass coming into the city, there's a 2-car collision on Kamjeon ramp. Please be aware of this area. There's another accident on Beonyeonglo going away from the city. A 4-car collision right past the Oryun tunnel. That's causing a lot of backup. There's another accident on Gwangan Haebyeonlo from Millak Center to the beach. There's an accident in front of Homer's Hotel or Homeris Hotel. So those are 3 accidents that we know. There's a broken down car inside Hwangryang Tunnel from Seomyeon to Daeyeon in that direction. And currently it is 22 degrees Celsius under sunny skies here in Busan. It's going to go up to 26 today. So across the nation, we have cooler fall weather with light rain over Jeju. However, the temperatures between the morning low and the daytime high, some areas are seeing up to 15 degrees. So please dress accordingly. This was your traffic and weather. time for a special interview. On September 4th, nearly 475 workers, including more than 300 South Korean nationals, were detained by ICE, and ICE stands for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, at a Hyundai LG battery plant in Georgia. I mean, we know the story, right? And in the following days, the workers, they were able to return home on a charter flight. However, some of their accounts of the raids and subsequent detention have raised serious concerns about human rights violations and potential claims for compensation. So here in Korea, there are civic groups that have highlighted the incident that might reflect possible discrimination and even xenophobia toward migrant workers. And witnesses have described harsh detention conditions, including things like moldy beds, foul-smelling water, and aggressive treatment during the whole process. So today we're going to explore the legal and human rights fallout from the Georgia ICE raid and what it means for immigrant workers across the board. We have invited to the airways Professor Danielle Jeffries, the Schmidt Professor for Excellence in Research and Associate Professor of Law at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Hi, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
So first, can you explain the legal framework that is in place for the detention of foreign workers in the United States?
Yeah, and so there's two different sources of authority to consider here, both of which came into play in Georgia. We have criminal authority and civil immigration authority. So as you mentioned, on September 4th, the U.S. Homeland Security Investigations, which is the criminal arm of ICE, executed a judge-approved federal criminal search warrant on the site at a Hyundai's campus near Savannah, Georgia. Federal authorities said that their months-long investigation into these alleged unlawful employment practices at the site identified more than 475 people working without authorization. So that search warrant, which was as I mentioned, a criminal search warrant, it was signed by a judge. It authorized agents to enter that site and conduct a search. And built into that authority is their ability to temporarily detain people on site for safety and control, only while the search is happening. And officials might even, they can use reasonable restraints, they can ask questions, including about immigration status, but only during that limited time while executing that criminal search warrant. Immigration custody then is a little bit different. So moving someone from one of those brief on-site detentions to actual immigration custody, civil immigration custody, does not require a judge-signed warrant. Under U.S. immigration law, ICE officers can question non-citizens about their status and their authorization to remain in the country. And they can also arrest individuals on their own administrative warrants. These warrants are signed by an immigration officer, not a judge. And then there's rare cases where ICE officers may conduct an warrantless arrest if they believe that someone is subject to removal and likely to escape before they can get a warrant.
So thanks for breaking it down for us, the details of this. But I'm also curious, Professor, first of all, what you mentioned, reasonable restraints. So what does that exactly mean? Because when we saw the footage and the photos, everybody here in Korea was a little shocked because we're like, really? Are the shackles really necessary?
Right, and that's an open question now, because what if that were to come before a court, the question that the court would answer is, what were those particular restraints in that search reasonable, or were they punitive? Did they go beyond what those officers needed to secure the site and ensure the safety of everyone there?
I see. Well, from a legal perspective, what might constitute a violation of human rights in a situation like this detention situation?
A number of things. Under U.S. law and international law, the baseline is that detention has to be necessary, it has to be lawful, of course, and it has to be humane. If we dig a little bit deeper into U.S. law, the Constitution prohibits people from being seized or detained in ways that are unreasonable. So we just talked about those restraints. If the particular restraints that were used went beyond what was necessary to secure everyone's safety or the safety of the site during the search, that could be unlawful. If agents held workers longer than necessary just because they happened to be there, that could be unlawful. Additionally, the Constitution's protections of due process and equal protection guarantee that all people in the United States have those protections, including non-citizens. So there's no citizen, non-citizen distinction here.
Okay.
And if officials were detaining people based solely on their ethnicity, absent any kind of safety justification, for example, that could also potentially violate constitutional protections.
And so, go ahead, Professor.
I was going to add, to the extent that folks were detained in ICE immigration facilities after that, in the days before they returned home, we also have to remember that there's protections there as well. And so some of those reports of conditions raise concerns about whether those were lawful conditions. The conditions have to be such so they don't rise to the level of being punitive. And again, it's kind of like the restraints analysis. The government has the authority to detain folks to make sure that they show up to their hearings or for their removal. Any kind of condition that goes beyond that gets closer to feeling more like punishment, could present a legal issue.
I see. Excuse me. And looking at the legal options of these workers, now that, they're out of detainment, is there a way to seek compensation or at least have their voices heard in some sort of court of law?
There are options. Their options are limited. Their main path is through this law called the Federal Tort Claims Act, or the FTCA. This statute lets people sue the United States, the government itself, for injuries like false imprisonment, assault, or negligence that federal officers commit. It is possible to recover damages under a claim made under that statute, but the law also gives the government broad defenses. And so those cases often get dismissed. Another option is a constitutional claim against individual officers, but the Supreme Court has really narrowed the path for those sorts of claims, and particularly in the immigration context, closed a lot of those paths. So realistically, that path is nearly impossible. As for having their voices heard, the workers could also file administrative complaints with the DHS Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, or there's an inspector general that if they see the complaint is potentially warranted, they could investigate the issue and produce findings. But those administrative complaints don't award money damages.
Yes. So, it's been said, it's been done. The situation, it was dire for those who were detained. But looking ahead, because we do want to learn from this event, what lessons should companies and workers and even governments take from this incident to prevent something like this happening again in the future?
Well, I think for companies, my first word of advice is to have good counsel, consult legal counsel so that you ensure that workers are placed on the right visas. Using tourist visas, for example, for productive labor isn't wise. And so companies and subcontractors need to ensure that their workers are on proper work authorized visas.
Yes.
And so for big employers like Hyundai, that means they should probably also audit the supply chain and their recruiters and make sure that every element in that chain is following that advice, is ensuring that workers are on the right visas. For workers, I would also say know your rights. Even non-citizens working in the U.S. have that right to humane treatment. They have the right to, if they are in immigration proceedings, to request a lawyer, albeit at their own expense. They have an international law right to contact their consular official. They should also carry identification and those important consular numbers and ask for interpretation services if they need them in an encounter with federal officials. And then for governments, I think that this just speaks to the need for strong agreements, diplomacy among governments, make sure that countries that are sending workers to the United States look for those strong labor agreements and advise their nationals as well that immigration enforcement in the U.S. has changed, and they need to look out for something like this.
All right. Well, I do want to thank you for your time and expertise in explaining this very kind of sticky situation to our audience. Take care, Professor. We appreciate your time.
Thanks very much. Take care.
This was Professor Daniel Jeffries, and we talked about that detainment in Georgia, the legal, human rights, and diplomatic, also the fallout that ensued afterwards. So I do want to thank our expert one more time. We're going to take a short song break. We need a little breather after that one, right? This is 요즘 바쁜가 봐 by Tubik. Enjoy. I'll be back in just a moment.
까진 아니었는데 사람 마음이란 게 이렇지 이 모든 걸 넌 예측한 거니 이게 밀당 뭐 그런 거니 매일 내 마음을 떠보던 너의 문자를 이제 내가 기다린다 생각했는데 왜 이렇게 예뻐 보일까 동생으로만 보였었는데 이젠 여자로만 보이네 내게 칭얼칭얼대던 너의 모습들이 이젠 너무 그리운데 자꾸 네가 생각나 한때는 부담스럽던 네가 또 매일매일 눈에 보이던 네가 내가 걸린 건가 아님 낚인 건가 너의 장난에 한 번만 더 물어봐 솔직히 누가 제일 좋냐고 또 매일매일 누가 보고 싶냐고 네 이름을 말할 수 있는데 요즘 넌 바쁜가 봐 허전해서 이러는 마음이 아냐 난 네가 필요해 이러는 게 어딨어 이렇게 널 기다리게 만들어 놓고 나서 너만 사랑하게 만들고 나서 이렇게 될 줄은 난 몰랐어 내가 바본 건가 아니 속는 건가 너의 장난에 한 번만 더 불러줘 네 입에 붙어있던 내 이름 나만 아는 그 귀여운 목소리로 잘잘되던 네가 그리운데 요즘 넌 바쁜가 봐
It's time for News and Death. We have our newscaster, Claire. She's in the studio right now. So let's say hi first. Hi, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, pretty good. Today I do want to get your take on this. Like we're talking about little injuries or maybe major ones when you were little or younger. 다친 거 아니면 사고 친 거. I can't imagine Claire 사고 치는 거는.
Oh, too many.
Oh, too many, really?
Yes.
Oh, can you just give us like one sample?
One scar here, like
from what?
I played soccer.
Oh, okay.
With 아는 오빠야.
오빠야랑 축구하다가
my shoes went into the wall, like 담장. and then I'll pick it up. And then I went in, and then I just slipped. And then to the 대문, the gate door, the steel.
Did you? Oh no!
And then it ruptured, like.
And there was a lot of bleeding.
And then I went to stitches, get some stitches.
That's kind of major.
It's really major. It's really major.
Face.
And the face, there's a lot of bleeding. My mom told me like 2 full towels were like wet.
From blood?
Yes, in taxi. So
How
she
old
was
were you
like
again?
freaking out.
How old were you?
6.
Oh,
I was kind of yeah. You can imagine. You can imagine.
That's just one of.
That's just one of.
Okay. Well, I wish we had more time.
But that was a major one.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Excluding all these other,
little ones?
bruises. Yes.
Okay.
That's nothing.
Well, thanks for sharing. Now we know a little bit more about Claire. So we are going to talk about some national news first. We're going to begin with the fact that the second round of household support coupons that they're going to actually start today, the second round, correct?
That's right. As of 9 a.m. this morning, September 22nd, applications officially open for the second round of 민생회복 소비쿠폰. The government is providing 100,000 won, 10만 won per person to the bottom 90% of income earners. So this is something that applies to the vast majority of Korean households.
Yes, 90%. So that's practically everyone except for the very highest earners.
Exactly. And the idea is to give families a little extra support for everyday expenses while also boosting local economies. What's important is that there are several ways you can receive this benefit depending on what's most convenient.
I see. So let's break this down for our listeners. What are the options?
Sure. If you want the money applied to your credit or debit card, you can apply through your card company's website, app, or even at your card's affiliated bank branch.
Okay.
If you'd rather use a regional voucher, you can go through your local government's website or app. And if you prefer a prepaid card or a paper voucher, you can simply visit your local community center with your ID and they'll issue it right there on the spot.
Well, I like that people have choices, right? It's not kind of like a one size fits all.
Yes, and there's even a special rule for soldiers currently serving. They can apply at the community center near their military base instead of their home address, and they'll be issued prepaid cards, and that can be used in that local area.
I like that attention to detail because, a lot of the young soldiers might otherwise feel very left out or have to travel to their hometown to spend that, right?
And the government is making sure they're included. Now, the other key things is the application schedule.
Yes.
For the first week, September 22nd, today through 26th this week, applications follow a day of week system based on the last digit of your birth year.
Right. So we're going to go over that right now. So today, Monday, are for digits ending in 1 and 6. Tomorrow, it's 2 and 7. Wednesday is 3 and 8. Thursday, 4 and 9. And then for Friday, digits ending in 5 and 0, correct?
That's it.
Okay.
And if you miss your day, don't worry. You can still apply later. Plus, on weekends, anyone can apply online, regardless of their number.
Okay, so that's, of course, to spread out the traffic volume and prevent the system from overload?
Exactly. And once you've received your coupon, you'll need to use it by November 30th. There are also location limits. If you live in a metropolitan city like Seoul or Busan, you must spend it within that city. If you're in a province, you have to spend it within your own city or county.
The whole point is the money stays local, right?
Exactly right. And that's by design. For example, if you get the coupon through a card, you can spend it as small businesses
with annual sales under 3 billion won, 30억, and in rural areas, designated shops like Hanaromat or local food stores are allowed regardless of sale sizes, so residents there also benefit.
Yes, so this is definitely a win for households, but we also need to address the risks because, of course, there were scams the first time around.
Yes, and that's a crucial point. The Financial Supervisory Service has raised its consumer alert level from caution to warning. During the first round earlier this year, authorities recorded 430 smishing attempts. That's when scammers send fake text messages with malicious links pretending to be official notifications.
So what should our listeners keep in mind if they do get a message on their phone? What should they be aware of?
So their golden rule is this. Official messages will never ever include a clickable link.
Okay.
If you see a text about coupons with a URL, the address, do not click it. Instead, go directly to your card company's app or your local government's official website.
Right. So once again, reminder, no link, no click, right?
Exactly. And for anyone who's unsure or has questions, there are hotlines you can call. The government's Minwon call center at 110110. The coupon-specific hotline at 1670-2525.
Okay.
And even local government call centers. For health insurance-related checks, you can call 1577-1000 000.
Yeah, so once again, plenty of official channels to get help safely.
That's right. The bottom line, this program is meant to help households and support small businesses, but people should be careful to apply through official routes and watch out for scams trying to take advantage of it.
That's right. So once again, it starts today, and you have to use the coupons by November 30th, right?
Exactly right.
All right. For our next story, Claire, we're going to get into the digital world. It feels like every week we're hearing about some new hacking scandal in Korea. So what's the situation now?
Right. It has been a tough year for cybersecurity here.
Yes.
In fact, over just a few months, we've seen multiple record-breaking breaches that affected millions of people. Let's start with the biggest one, SK Telecom.
Yes, this was like all over the news. We covered it. Yes.
Back in April, their servers were hacked and more than 26.9 million SIM card records were stolen. That's almost the entire subscriber base.
Right.
Because of the sheer scale, the Personal Information Protection Commission fined SK Telecom 134.8 billion won, the largest penalty ever for a data breach in Korea.
Yes, once again, it's a huge fine, but that goes to show just how serious this incident was.
Indeed. And the risks don't stop at numbers. With SIM card data exposed, experts warn that SIM swapping, which could allow criminals to hijack phone numbers and break into bank accounts.
Oh, so it's not just about like the stolen information, but the possibility of future crimes.
Right. And then there's KT, which faced a completely different kind of attack. Hackers, identified as Chinese suspects, set up illegal micro-base stations called femtocells. These devices intercepted signals from ordinary users' phones.
So basically, people were just using their phones like they normally do, but their calls and data were kind of secretly being captured?
Exactly. Through that, criminals were able to make unauthorized small payments. Things like topping up transportation cards or buying mobile gift cards.
Yes.
In the end, 362 customers lost about 240 million won.
Right. And initially, we thought it was on a smaller scale, but then later we learned that the damage was even wider than we originally thought.
Yes, initially, police believed the crimes were limited to areas like Gwangmyeong, Busan, and parts of Incheon.
Yes.
But newly submitted data to the National Assembly shows the fraud also spread to Seoul's Seocho-gu and Dongjagu districts, as well as Ilsan-dong in Goyang.
Yes.
For example, in early September, 15 people in Dongjak, Gwanak, and Yeongdeungpo lost nearly 9.6 billion won in just 4 days. Additional victims in Seocho lost about 2.2 million won, and others in Goyang and Gwacheon followed.
Yes. So it seems like the geographic scope keeps expanding.
Exactly. Lawmakers are now criticizing KT for releasing the details too slowly. Originally, KT even claimed there were no cases on September 4th and 5th, but later admitted
there had been almost 100 fraudulent transactions on those days alone, bringing the total number of victims up to 362 across 764 cases.
So I'm sure that some people felt like, KT wasn't being fully transparent.
Oh, yes. Critics say KT focused only on cases where ARS phone signals were hijacked, ignoring other suspicious activity like unauthorized pass authentication or even KakaoTalk logins. Lawmakers are calling for a full customer-by-customer investigation and stronger penalties, potentially tougher than those imposed on SK Telecom.
Right. So very serious situations, two telecoms, but they're not the only ones.
Yes, and then we have the Lotte card breach. At first, the company admitted just a small leak, about 1.7 gigabytes of data, but later the truth came out. 200 gigabytes were stolen, affecting nearly 3 million customers.
Right, and that included very sensitive details.
Yes, card numbers, expiration dates, and even the CVC code printed on the back of the cards.
Yes.
For about 280,000 people, personal data like resident registration numbers were also leaked. That's the kind of information criminals can use immediately.
So once again, putting people's money at risk and just not a great feeling.
Yes, and the fallout has been severe. Critics say that since Lotte Card was acquired by a private equity group in 2019, the company may have underinvested in security because it wasn't seen as immediately profitable.
Yes, so financial decisions may have made the company even more vulnerable.
Yes, that's the allegation. And it's not only telecom and finance. The Yes24 online bookstore was hit by ransomware twice this year, once in June and again in August. The first attack shut down their services for full 5 days. The second lasted about 7 hours. Losses are estimated at over 10 billion won, not counting damages to customer trust.
That's right. So it really is an issue that might be affecting a lot of people. But we're going to move on for now to our next topic. For our final story, we're going to turn to some very somber but important news. The Defense Ministry is reviewing the status of soldiers who have died in service. So can you explain?
Yes. The Defense Ministry has just commissioned a study to review the cases of about 38,056 비순직자, that's the term for soldiers who died during service but were not officially recognized as sunjik or duty-related deaths.
So these soldiers who passed away, I guess they didn't get full recognition or compensation?
Indeed. They included 20,205 accidental or unexplained deaths, 12,798 suicides, and 5,054 illness-related deaths. And this isn't just historical. Cases are still happening. Between 2020 and 2024, last year, over 390 new cases were recorded.
Wow, and think about all the families that are still waiting for closure.
Yes, the rules have changed over time. Before 2014, suicides were automatically excluded from recognition. But after law revision, suicides with a proven link to military service can be recognized.
Yes.
Similarly, deaths from pre-existing conditions that worsen during service can also qualify now.
I see. So thank you for bringing this also final story to the attention of our listeners. We do appreciate all the top stories. And of course, we'll check in with you real soon. Thank you, Claire.
My pleasure. See you next week.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for the news to Claire. And before we wrap up for today, there's a couple things that I want to tell you about. First up, there is an exclusive interview with Reuters. President Lee Jae-myung, he spoke about certain issues. Some of the pressing issues include the ongoing trade talks, about the immigration raid in Georgia, and also about North Korea. So President Lee saying that, the two sides, South Korea and the U.S., had a difference in opinion over that pledged $350 billion investment. So basically, Washington is demanding this in cash investments without a currency swap, which he says could spark a financial crisis. We don't want to look back even or think about the 1997 Asia financial meltdown, but it's on that level he's saying. And also, he did also address the rest of what we talked about during our special interview, the more than 300 South Korean workers at that battery plant in Georgia. So, he says it's not going to undermine the bilateral alliance. And so it goes on and on. So if you're interested, definitely check out this article or this interview with Reuters. And of course, Saturday, I can't leave this out. We have our 공개방송 at F1963. So yes, it's happening. It's finally here this Saturday, September 27th. And we're going to have an amazing panel, Lee Bo-young, Peter Bint, Andrew Millard, and new ace Aaron, along with two amazing musical guests. So hope to see all of you there. We're going to say goodbye for today on this Monday morning with this song, 대해가 필요해 by 자두. Have a great one. Bye, everybody.
또 왜 그러는데 뭐가 못마땅한데 할 말 있으면 더 넣고 말해봐
너 많이 변했어
내가 뭘 어쨌는데
처음엔 안 그랬는데
처음엔 어땠었는데
요샌 내가 하는 말투랑 화장과 머리 옷 입는 것까지 다 짜증나나봐
그건 네 생각이야
우리 서로 사랑한 지도 어느덧 10개월 매일 보는 얼굴 실증도 나겠지 나도 너처럼 나 좋다는 사람 많이 줄 섰어
간다는 사람 잡지 않아 어디 한번
근데 그놈의 정이 뭔지 내 뜻대로 안돼 마음은 끝인데 몸이 따르질 않아 아마 이런 게 사랑인가 봐널 사랑하나 봐
지금부터 내 말을 들어봐 넌 집착이 심해
그건 집착이 아냐
나를 너무너무 구속해
그럼 너도 나를 구속해
우리 결혼한 사이도 아닌데 마치 와이프처럼 모든 걸 간섭해
너의 관심 끌고 싶어서 내 정등기 머리 짧게 치고서 웨이브 줬더니 한심스러운 너의 목소리